Okay, time to check Rotten Tomatoes for Thor Ragnarok. Hey, 96%. Certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. That's pretty good. Can next week come now? Thor, The Dark World. Thor: The Dark World came out in 2013, directed by Alan Taylor, starring Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Tom Hiddleston, Idris Elba, and Anthony Hopkins. Takes place after the events of the Avengers, and Thor is conflicted whether he wants to be king of Asgard or not, and his former girlfriend on Earth, Jane, once again played by Natalie Portman, he gets infected with a substance called the Ether, hope I said that correctly, and it belonged to these dark elves led by Malekith, and also Thor teams up with Loki to stop the dark elves. Back when I heard they were making a sequel to Thor, I was excited. I was like, okay, and I was hoping there would be room for improvement since I did enjoy the first movie. If you saw my review of the first Thor, you know that I really enjoyed the first Thor, and I was hoping there would be room for improvement with a sequel. And when I saw it back in 2013, I was disappointed. I did think it was a good movie, not really a great movie, but I was disappointed, and I felt the same way for years, so I haven't rewatched it since. And since Ragnarok is coming out next week, thought it would be a good time to rewatch it. And I still feel the same, but that being said, I was more entertained by this movie than when I first saw it, and I still think this is an enjoyable and entertaining movie now. But it's still not a great movie, it has its problems, but I'll get to good stuff first, then the problems. My favorite part of this movie is easily performances by Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Chris Hemsworth still shows to be a perfect Thor. He's funny, likable, charismatic. He's just a perfect choice for Thor. I can't imagine anyone else playing this character. Then we get to Tom Hiddleston as Loki, who just straight up steals this movie. I wish he had more screen time. He was so much fun to watch. And I love seeing him and Thor interact together. I really wanted to see more of them because I really love their camaraderie and their arguments, and I love seeing that. And I thought both Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston had great chemistry. Also, that cameo scene, Loki turns into one Avenger. You saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my god, that was hilarious. And I have to say, Alan Taylor did a really good job directing this movie. He's a director known for Game of Thrones, and I can definitely tell there's like a Game of Thrones vibes here. And he would later direct Terminator Genesis. We can all forget about that, but let's focus on Thor: The Dark World. I thought he did an excellent job with the production design, making the look of Asgard, still continuing that grand scope of Asgard like in the first movie. Thought he did a great job with that, and the effects are top-notch too. Thankfully, there was a lot more action in this movie than there was in the first movie. There are some action scenes that were very entertaining to watch, particularly in the climax with the portals. Thought that was very entertaining. And some of the comedic moments work really well too. Mostly with Loki, and like I told you, that cameo. Oh my god, that was the funniest scene in the movie. Some of the rest of the performances were pretty good too. Natalie Portman is fine. She doesn't really do anything special, but she did do good for what she's given. Idris Elba and Anthony Hopkins have a lot more to do in this movie and are once again great as Heimdall and Odin. And I also liked how there was more screen time between Thor and Odin, and thought they had some great scenes together in this movie. Sadly, there are some problems with the movie. I will get to those right now. First, I will say my biggest problem with this movie, and it's like a complaint with most Marvel movies, the villain. Oh, I gotta say, in my opinion, this is the worst villain in the MCU. This villain is a total bore. There is nothing interesting about him. He doesn't really add any menace. I didn't really find him intimidating or menacing or anything. It's just a boring, generic villain. Just, I need this so I can take over the world. And he is just a generic villain. And also, Kat Dennings in this movie, they brought her back in this movie. I didn't like her in the first movie, But at least she wasn't annoying too much, and at least she had some scenes with Thor, and so it was like, it wasn't too bad. But in this movie, oh my god, she is so annoying in this movie. She's not funny. She did not make me laugh. I couldn't stand her whenever she showed up on screen, and it was like, oh my god, just please get off the screen. And subplot with this intern and just starts a romance out of nowhere in the climax, and just like, why was this necessary? Why are they in the movie? You can just easily cut that out. Just, yeah, if you cut out that entire subplot, nothing changes. Also, I did not like how Natalie Portman was just like shoehorned in to be like the plot of this movie and have the ether inside her. I felt like she was just shoehorned in, just like, you were in the first movie, you gotta be in the sequel. When they would cut back to Earth and they would try to be funny, there were some that fell flat. Like, there were some jokes that just weren't funny at all. Like Kat Dennings jokes, not funny, and scene where Stellan Skarsgård's character runs around Stonehenge in the nude. Yeah, I was cringing, to be honest. And I was actually really getting into the first half of this movie. I was interested. I liked seeing Thor being Thor and more of Asgard. But then once Natalie Portman, Kat Dennings, and that Stonehenge scene, that's where I felt like the movie lost me. And once it did introduce to the generic villain. Besides those problems, did I enjoy Thor the Dark World? Yes. I do wish it was an improvement over the first movie. It felt like it was going to, but they just had to add these other subplots. But I still enjoyed this movie for what it was. I don't think it's one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies I would watch over and over again. But I do hope Thor Ragnarok is awesome, and based on the early reviews I've been reading and seeing, hopefully it is. And overall, I'm going to give Thor the Dark World 3.5 stars out of 5. Maybe just for that half for Loki, because Loki's awesome. Can't wait to see him in Ragnarok. Still think it's a good movie, good, enjoyable, entertaining movie, funny at times. Not a great movie, but do wish there was improvement, so let's hopefully Ragnarok is great. So what do you guys think of Thor the Dark World? Do you agree? Disagree with me? Let me know below. Make sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new here. It really means a lot. I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.